Okay, welcome. I think we're live on air. Welcome to Soccer Sanchez TV. This is my second vlog in what hopes to be many. Today I'm with a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi there guys, my name is Stuart. Brian has asked me to come in today and talk a bit about what's been going on the last week or so with some of the transfers happening all over the world. And we're here to talk today to you guys about
Big Brentford fan. He's in the financial market, so we're gonna delve into the Chinese Super League in a little bit. But yeah, let's get started. I mean, first thing I want to talk about really is our featured game. Just want to explain what our featured game is today.
So today our featured game is almost top of the table clash between Burnley and Hull City. Both of them were recently in Premier League, and we think it might be a high scoring game. We obviously have two strikers in banging form at the moment, Abel Hernandez and Andre Gray. Andre Gray just being signed in the summer from Brentford, and Abel Hernandez just making that transition from the Premier League to the Championship.
So as always, we're going to be using FIFA to kind of demonstrate what we think might happen in today's game. We're going to go through with the team lineups as they're coming up now, as you can see on the screen there. Burnley v Hull at Turf Moor. Top of the league is Hull City.
Middlesbrough, I think. It should be Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough, okay, what position? There we go. So we look at our main players today. We've got Andre Gray, scored 18 goals in all competitions. I think this might be a bit wrong. 18 goals in all competitions, sorry. And 5 goals in the last 3 matches for Abel Hernandez. Uruguayan players come over from Palermo. Didn't have a great season in the Premier League in the first season. I think they got relegated after that first year. Yeah. And he's had a bit of return to form this season, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, boys. It looks like the dropping division has served him well. He's now scoring goals for fun, and looks like Championship defenders are having a hard time getting the better of him.
He was predicted to be a superstar when he was 18, 19. Hasn't quite reached those heights, but I mean, to be fair, I mean this season he scored 15 goals in all in the league. So you know, it's not a bad return. And like I said there, you can see on the screen there, 5 goals in the last 3 matches. Just carrying with the video then. We're going to bring up our predicted starting lineups. Hull and Burnley won't have many changes from the last match. If anything, it's pretty much the same team. I do believe there is an injury, and I forgot who it was now. I can't even pronounce his name either. It begins with J for Burnley. But he's a good player. So yeah, as we look at the starting lineup, then there's going to be the same formation as the last match. We've got there Vokes and Gray up front. Obviously, Gray in good. Having a good form at the moment, and Vokes has actually scored 6 goals this season, so he's doing well. Knightley and Arfield on the wings, Jones and Barton in the middle. We've got there Ward, Me, Keane, Loughton, and Heaton in goal. Anything to say about the starting lineup?
Well, no, I just think that Burnley look to play to the strengths of Andre Gray. He likes to run down the channel. He's obviously added a few more goals to his game this season. I saw him last season against Fulham. Which was on Sky, and he was really doing a lot of hard work for the team, running the channels and creating a lot of havoc for the defenders. And looks like he'll probably be doing the same thing today against Hull, against some of the defenders, and should be for a good game. Okay,
so we're going to look at the Hull formation. Of course, Abel Hernandez up front. He should be starting. There's no reason why he shouldn't be. He hasn't picked up an injury or anything. Diarmi, obviously the ex-Wigan and West Ham player, now playing his trade in the Championship. I think he's kind of found his home there. He's played pretty well. Is less of a defensive player as he was in the Premier League. Seems to be working well. Abel Hernandez as well. Another player I'd like to mention as well, Kalukas, the left winger there for Hull number 11. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he came from Hereford last season. I can't remember where he was playing, but he's played really, really well. Really impressive. Poor man's Andy Townsend, but you never know. If he improves a little bit more, he might become the next Robin. Who knows? But a good left-footed player against Snodgrass. Playing his trade for Norwich in the Premier League last season, I think it was, the season before. Yeah. Doing very, very well. Free kick maestro, Livermore and Hayden in central midfield. Left back, highly rated Robertson is there. Curtis Davis, Maguire, and ex-Brentford man on the right back. Is that correct?
Yes, but he's not. Oh, Odebajo. Sorry, my eyesight's not very good. But yeah, Odebajo was a very good right back last season for Brentford. Consistently good. Could have added a few more goals to his game. But it looks like with Hull, he's really finding form at the moment. Constant threat down that wing, and we should see good things from him the years to come.
Just as confirmation as well, the injured players were Lucas Terkowitz and Ashley Barnes, who's long-term injury anyway. And for Hull City, It was Adamama Diomande.
Yes, it looks like the right way to say it.
There you go. A couple of facts for you. We've got here Burnley have kept a clean sheet in 6 of the last 8 home matches against Hull in all competitions. Hull have actually won their last 4 matches in the Championship, but Burnley have seen under 2.5 goals in the last 7 of the 8 games at home against Hull in all competitions. So if there are any goals, we're not expecting there to be many, just based on history alone. Hull City have kept a clean sheet in 3 of the last the last 3 matches. So defensively, Hull look pretty sound there and on form as well. 4 games in a row, won there. I mean, generally, this would be the biggest clash in the Championship for the fact that both teams have only just come down from the Premiership. So again, big clubs in the Championship trying to do their thing. But then again, if you look at any team in the Championship,
there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of teams that can win. I mean, in terms of challenges to Burnley and Hull, who else do you think could actually challenge for the Premier League promotion?
Well, definitely you have to mention Middlesbrough up there. Massively invested this January transfer window with Jordan Rhodes. Got players like, obviously they bought Downing in the summer. He's done very well. And they've also invested in the loan signing Gaston Ramirez. Well, I'm surprised to see Ramirez in the Championship. I think he did have a good season in the Premier League at Southampton a couple of years ago. And he's just not had the same sort of luck with Ron Koeman. But I do think Middlesbrough will definitely be up there. Derby County will not be far away either. They've got a talented manager in Neil Clements, who's obviously plied his trade with clubs like PSG, Real Madrid. So I'd expect to see these teams right at the top at the moment to stay there. Regarding the playoff places, that is going to be a battle between probably a 4-way battle. Birmingham are there, Ipswich are always there or thereabouts. Birmingham have also come on very strong this season, and they have a good and upcoming manager. I forgot his name now. What's his name? Birmingham manager.
Birmingham manager. I forgot.
Yeah. Well, he's managing at Burton, and he made the transition to Birmingham a couple of seasons ago, and it looks like he's done very well with them, and I reckon they will definitely be up there as well. My own team, Brentford, I don't think they'll be there or thereabouts. They haven't really invested in January transfer window, so they're probably saving that money for the summer transfer window and getting a few players in, probably playing around Europe at the moment. Whether it's good or bad, the fans are divided like that, so I reckon, yeah, give us another season, we should be there.
They played Brighton yesterday. Just remind us the score.
Thank you very much, Brian. We didn't do too good. We lost 3-0. Not a great performance, but I am impressed though with Alan Judge as always. He's scoring quite a few goals.
Yeah, did very well.
Top scorer for the team, and another player that's really impressed me is Moses DeBarjo's replaced with Maxime Collin. He has had quite a few good reviews, and yesterday's match he did show what he can offer us in terms of an attacking threat, more attacking threat than Moses DeBarjo, and I reckon he will probably next season we'll see the best of him. But yeah, that's my take on what the current playoff promotion battle is at the moment in the Championship.
Okay, and in terms of teams like Middlesbrough, I mean, did they bring anyone in during the transfer window?
Yeah, I mentioned. Yeah, so Jordan Rhodes, Gaston Ramirez.
Ramirez, that's it. So Ramirez, personally speaking, I thought was a fantastic player when he's playing in Italy. He came over to Southampton. He showed glimpses of what he could do. Great left foot. I believe he's a free kick expert as well.
Yeah.
But then injuries and personal problems kind of faded away a little bit. Do you think he can actually pick up his career at Middlesbrough?
Definitely, yeah. You've seen players drop down a division and really kick on. We could just mention basically Abel Hernandez. He was playing Premier League football last season. He didn't do too good, and now he's really sort of picking up the pace with Hull City. And you do see players drop down the division all the time, and kick starting their careers. And hopefully the same happens with Gaston Ramirez, and we see him back in the Premier League playing for Middlesbrough next season if they make the signing permanent.
There is a bit of a Spanish contingent at Middlesbrough, isn't there? So he might fit in well. I mean, the manager.
Yeah, Hector Caranca. Yeah, he's obviously got to maybe gel a bit more easily, you could say, with Middlesbrough. And you can see, well, they had Kike up front, but I think they've sold him now to Eibar in Spain. And they've brought in a player called Sola, also a striker from La Liga, I think. And so there is a Spanish flavour right now to Middlesbrough.
Yeah, definitely. Kike, obviously.
Yeah, he scored quite a few goals, but then he sort of had a drought, and he's been shipped off to Eibar this season.
In terms of the league then, Hull City top, 56 points, Middlesbrough second, 55. Brighton after their win yesterday are 53 points. Burnley lying fourth now for 52. Derby County with 50, and Ipswich Town there with 58 points. And looking just behind Ipswich, we've got Wednesday, Birmingham, and Cardiff still in with a slight shout there. Brentford, where have you guys fallen?
I think still 10th, but we'll probably fall a bit more today after today's games. Forgot to mention Sheffield Wednesday. They're also big spenders in this transfer window. Bought in Gary Hooper, was it? Gary Hooper from Norwich for cut price. I think £3 million is a good deal. He can score goals
in the lower leagues.
In the lower leagues, I reckon he could.
Definitely.
He scored his goals for Celtic. Didn't quite work out at Norwich. And another case of another player jumping down the division and hoping to maybe kickstart his career. They also bid for Alan Judge, our top scorer. I think bid of £6 million, just turned down. So yeah, you can see they have some financial clout behind them. So we could see another again. Well, Chinese. The Chinese have been in the news the last few weeks in terms of football, and I think they do have a lot of Chinese backing in Sheffield Wednesday. So probably see a lot of activity there in the summer transfer window.
We'll get on to the Chinese Revolution in a second.
Yes.
Another quick thing to mention, actually, I don't think I mentioned it at the starting lineup. Powell has made his is it permanent move? He's made a move to Hull City.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Whether or not he'll start today, we don't know. He'll probably start on the bench and make some sort of appearance later. Other news as well, Burnley manager Sean Dyche has signed a new contract yesterday. Funny enough, the press release from Burnley didn't actually confirm how many years it was extended to. I know he signed a renewal to the contract last year. Now he signed a renewal to the renewal. So, judging by it,
that works out.
He'll be there for another 20 years by the sounds of it. And Steve Bruce won an award last month, didn't he?
Manager
of the month. So I mean, it's both clubs doing very well. They are exactly where they want to be, fighting for that promotion to the Premier League. My bad. And I mean, personally speaking, I think Burnley will win the league.
Really? What's your reasoning behind that?
I just think the manager's really good. There's a reason why they're giving another contract. They've got solid players. They've got players doing the right jobs at the right time. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're very organised. They're very strong, and Turf Moor is a bit of a intimidating place to play compared to a lot of other Championship grounds where they might not even sell out tickets. Like Middlesbrough, for example, at home, really poor ticket sales. And Steve Gibson has always had that problem with Middlesbrough. Fair enough. Fair play to him for still being there after so many years. He still pumps in the money. He still has confidence in his managers. Doesn't seem to shotgun fire them straight away. I just think Burnley are tipped for the title. I was hoping Brentford might do something, but so watching that performance on Sky yesterday, hopefully they reach playoffs.
Yeah, well, hopefully. I think it's a bit too much of a wish at the moment, but I do think that Middlesbrough will actually win the league this season. They just have too much quality there. Jordan Rose, especially, he scores goals for fun. Did that at Blackburn. Surprised he had actually gone to the Premier League. Maybe last season he was linked to move to Crystal Palace. That didn't materialise, so he's still in the Championship. But I just think that they have just too much quality. The only concern is, if they were to stay to not get promoted this season, I'm just not sure if Steve Gibson would be pumping the money next season again, because he did it last season. It didn't work. Now this season, I think he's going all out. And if he doesn't get his wish, who knows whether or not he'll be carrying on his investment with the club. But that we shall see if they get promoted. But that's my tip for promotion this season, Middlesbrough.
Just to round off the Championship talk, other games today, see Middlesbrough against Blackburn. That could be significant. Birmingham against Wednesday. Both teams in the top half of the table fighting for promotion. Of course, Burnley, Hull, and Leeds Forest, just for the pure fact that they had two big giants who are still sleeping. Too many sleeping.
Forever sleeping.
Forever sleeping.
Especially Forest. They
did make a lot of noise though, especially on Twitter and that. But yeah, great. And one quick thing, for relegation to the Championship, Aston Villa. Got to be. Got to get relegated. They are absolutely terrible. Forest sorry for them because they do have some players that can do stuff. But this season, the stuff is not there.
Feel sorry for their fans for more than anything.
Yeah, true. And in case you missed it, the match you're playing out on the screen there, the FIFA 16 prediction is that Burnley will win 2-0.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Not bad. Now we want to move on to another subject, of course. And this time we're going to be talking about the Chinese Revolution, the Chinese Super League. What do you think? That's just basically, what do you think about the Chinese Super League?
Yeah, well,
any thoughts to start off with?
yeah, well, it took the world of football by storm last week when we had, well, not just last week, probably the last few weeks we've had talks about Ramirez obviously going to China. After that, it was Guarin from Inter Milan. They've got him now, and after that followed the rumoured bid of 57 million pounds for Oscar.
Yeah, so it was 57 million pounds.
Yes.
As we say rumoured, it actually came out from his agent
This what
that,
today.
that it actually happened. That Chelsea actually rejected the bid from the Chinese side. I'll find in a second. But yeah, I mean that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Considering how much money is in China, generally financially in the financial world, excluding sport, they could be a very very big player in the football terms anyway. Bearing in mind as well, they're exempt from financial fair play. They can literally put up as much money as they want to get whoever they want, and it sounds like they're doing it. I mean, looking at this here, Jiansung Sunning. Pronunciation of these teams are going to be very dodgy, but it was Johnson Sunning who had a £57 million bid rejected by Chelsea. If we just go through some of the list of the players here, we got, and it's not just the transfer fees, it's the wages. The wages are ridiculous. These wages I've got from the Daily Mail, so how accurate they are I don't know, because already he's read different reports than what I have from what I've got here. Alex Cicero was obviously the biggest transfer. Mind you, I was going to mention as well, of the top 10 transfers during the winter window, 7 of them were from China, and that says a lot. That has never happened before. Things like the TV deal coming in. We've got here, what was it? I read yesterday that 1.25 billion pounds over 5 years is going to be spent. Yeah, exactly. And when you look at the previous deal, it came out to 35 million. So this is a complete turnaround. Was it 9 million a year? I think it was. They agreed on. Now it's $200 million a year. So the money is astronomical. The fact that President Xi is also a big football fan. I mean, it just tells you. I mean, if you just want to.
Well, let's just hope he's not as much a football fan as David Cameron, who apparently supports Aston Villa
and West Ham.
And West Ham at the same time.
He gets confused because they've got the same colour kit, obviously.
Yeah.
Lucky he didn't say Burnley then.
No, it looks like President Xi is definitely a football fan, making comments in the media about it.
Go through the team. Just go through the players now and the wages they're going for.
So, as Brian mentioned, Alex Teixeira has gone for a fee of £38 million. The wages offered £147,000 a week. He would not have got that at Liverpool had he signed for the COP last week. Jackson Martinez, another big player, surprise signing in this transfer window. He just signed from Porto last summer, and it just hasn't worked out for him at Atletico Madrid, and he's gone for almost the same price to this Chinese club. And Daily Mail, they reported of £96,000 a week in wages. I saw a link somewhere else that he was being paid something like £180,000 a week. So that's a massive difference in what he was getting paid in Europe to what he's getting paid in Asia now. Ramirez, the high quality signing in China, £25 million. Wages offered is £192,000 a week. Again, fees that you're not going to get in Europe at the moment.
He'd never. I mean, would he have been near that at Chelsea? I mean, 80 grand, 100 grand, maybe.
Top's 100 grand, I'd say.
Champions League would around that, but £192,000 for a player who wasn't getting into the first team.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. A lot of money.
Yeah, Gervinho, another player that Arsenal fans will remember, either maybe not too fondly. We'll see. £13.5 million in the fee, and getting paid £150,000 a week right now. And a lot of fans will know the name Asamoah Gyan, player that did score quite a few goals in the Premier League for Sunderland. He's getting paid right now £227,000 a week, and he must be one of the best paid footballers in the planet at the moment. Also Demba playing in China, right now earning £90,000 a week. And one player that you actually mentioned to me, Ricardo Goulart. What do you know about him, Brian?
I don't know too much, but from doing the research and that, apparently he was, well not apparently, he is supposed to be a really big talent coming out of Brazil, but he missed Europe completely because he went straight to the Far East. And I mean, this is what's going to be happening. You're going to be seeing Neymar-like players that are coming through at 18, 19 and getting whisked off straight away to China. Now we've seen countries like the United Arab Emirates and I think even Saudi Arabia, not Saudi Arabia, they don't really.
They do, yeah, they do.
They have a lot of money, put it that way, down that end of the world. And then Gian, for example, played a couple of seasons there, a few seasons there, and was getting his money there. But again, the commercial value, how they can sell the sport in that part of the world is nowhere near the potential of China. As I mentioned before, I mean, President Xi is a huge fan of football, and he's made a pledge to actually get football played in 20,000 schools in China. I'm not sure if you know about that.
No, I didn't know that.
And the team that bought Jackson Martinez, Guangzhou Evergrande, they've actually got an academy set up a couple of years ago, again from the influence of President Xi, with the biggest football academy in the world, which was helped set up by Real Madrid. And another big thing about the Chinese league now, compared to what it was a couple of years ago when Drogba and Anelka were there, for example, or Conca. Do you remember Conca, Dario Conca?
No.
He was Argentinian player. I believe was top scorer in the Copa Libertadores, the South American Champions League. Went to China 3-4 years ago. Was actually the highest paid player in the world.
Wow.
This is around about when Eto'o was playing in Russia as well. He's I think he's only just left China. But what I'm saying is back then, Anelka, Conca, Drogba, when they were playing, it was Chinese setup, Chinese clubs, Chinese coaches, Chinese managers. Now we're looking at people like Scolari, we're looking at people like Sven-Goran Eriksson, who's out there now. I think he finished runner-up last season. We've got a couple of Brazilian ex-World Cup players as well. Mano Menezes is out there, Alberto Zaccarino, former Serie A winning coach. It's the infrastructure now that is being established, and it's not a deterrent now for South American or European players to go over to China, because they will accommodate them. And by the pure fact that, as I mentioned before, of the TV deal, the money is coming in. There is no financial fair play, and property development companies out there are buying football clubs. Not just in China, actually, in France as well. A club called Sochaux. Sochaux were bought by Amos Lee. He's the chairman there now. If I just read out a quote to you, and this is why I bring up President Xi quite a lot, because it's his influence that's, in my opinion, causing all this. He was in England last year. You see the picture there. He met up with Cameron, with Aguero. During that visit, they went to the National Football Museum. They introduced a Chinese player to the Hall of Fame, unbeknown to all of us.
Who did he?
Jen, is he the first ever Chinese player to play?
Was he at Everton? Lee Wang, wasn't that?
I forgot his name now. No, Sun.
That was Man City left back. Sun Ji-hai.
Yes, I think that's the guy. Yeah.
Legend, the legend.
But yeah, so anyway, so he got introduced. People like what's going on. A lot of pally here between Cameron and Xi. But I mean, this quote here. I mean, Sochaux are doing really badly at the moment. They're in the second division of France, and they are battling for relegation and may actually go down to League 3 essentially. Wow. But one quote that I got from an interview of a Chinese website, he says here, in China, you know very well a lot of people are very interested in football. President Xi wants to promote the Chinese football business, so it's a very good relationship crossover. In other words, it's a political thing. It's a political tool. They'll buy these clubs. They'll get in with President Xi, maybe get a tax break, maybe whatever it might be that they're getting out of this. They're getting more links to the political side of China. And I don't know, I mean, it's a dangerous game, but if they take care of the sport first and foremost, it could be a good thing. I mean, what do you think? Yeah,
well, to be honest, if it's good or bad, I'm not too sure. It probably is a detriment to the football we see here in Europe, in the Champions League. If you have players like Alex Teixeira, he was scoring goals for fun in Ukraine, now going to China. We're having these kind of players will do a lot of good to these clubs in Europe, and the quality of football we see in the Champions League all the time. Regarding the China affair, I'm just curious to see whether or not players will be going to MLS or to Chinese football nowadays. So we know that they get paid a lot of money in MLS at the moment.
But the things with the MLS is that because it's such a restricted transfer market. For example, each club can only have 3 players where they don't have to meet the salary cap.
Okay.
And things like that, issues with immigration, I think even very difficult for certain players in certain parts of the world just to get in straight away. unlike in China, they literally get a Chinese passport if they wanted to as soon as they step into the country. So it's all relative, really. I think MLS is held back by the fact that there are too many regulations for that to happen, essentially.
Yeah. Also, we used to see players from South America going to MLS rather than going to Europe first. They'll go to the MLS. You had players like, for example, I'll take Colombia as an example. Freddie Montero.
Yeah.
He went to Seattle. What's the name?
Seattle Sounders.
Seattle Sounders, and he went to Sporting Lisbon. And so I'm just wondering whether it's going to change now. We're going to see players from South America going to China.
Well, hasn't he gone to China now?
Actually, yeah. So that's a very Freddie Montero has gone to China.
So he's loving the money. MLS, China. But he's got a pension.
Well, there's a lot of close links between China and Latin America, not just in sports terms, also in political terms. A lot of connections there. So I'm wondering whether or not that will also lead onto the football term, whether we'll see players from South America going straight to China. Then potentially, you never know, going to Europe after that, after they've lived a good life, should we say, in China, then maybe making a crossover to Europe.
But this is the thing that gets me. Like, we talk about the MLS, and for example, Lampard, Pirlo, Ashley Cole, Gerrard, Robbie Keane. They're all 34 plus.
Yeah.
These players we're talking about here, they're in their prime still. Yeah. We're talking like Jackson Martinez, who was like 29. Wasn't he like close to winning a Golden Boot anyway a couple of years ago? Ramirez, Champions League winner, played the World Cup in 2014. Like these are established players who can really pick anywhere, any decent big team in Europe to play for. It's just the wages. I mean, £192,000 a week for Ramirez, it's crazy. He's not going to get that anywhere else. Asamoah Gyan, like really, what's he done? Like £227,000 a week.
Yeah. Whatever his agent's saying is working, because his agent's getting him some very lucrative deals at the moment.
Cristiano Ronaldo's agent, by the looks of it. I mean, there's some money being and that's another thing. These agents, they're going to see China as the gold mine. Yeah. They're going to do as much as they can to try and get their players out there. Even if you're a fourth division in France, I'm sure that agent can try and convince some Chinese club to sign them up, get him a deal, and the agent gets a bigger cut than what he ever would anywhere else in Europe.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, it's hearsay, me talking whatever, but that's the way I look at it. And just to go back as well on some of the reports of the players. Now we've got here Burak Yilmaz, he's a decent player, he's a good Champions League player.
Scoring goals for fun in Turkey.
He's off to Beijing Juan for €8 million. We've got here a report from Turkish newspaper Fanatic saying that Jiansung Suning, the team that was bidding for Oscar, have made a £16 million bid. Sorry, 16 million euro pound bid for Wesley Sneijder.
Wow.
Now these are good players, and it will be very interesting to see what will happen. Again, on the Daily Mail today, there's an interview with Watford's Odion Ogalo, obviously banging in the goals this year in the Premier League. He was actually offered £300,000 a week in the summer to play in China. So the money's crazy. There is no cap here.
Ceiling,
yeah, they can go through the roof with whatever they want to do. Other things to point out as well: Chinese firms that have bought clubs in Europe. Man City have a stake. Incidentally, about Man City, the $1.25 billion TV deal I was speaking about of the Chinese Super League was actually signed with a company called CMC, who actually bought 13% of Manchester City's parent company in December. So again, first we saw the Qataris with Paris Saint-Germain, Barcelona. Now it's looking like the Chinese are trying to get in there as well. Obviously, Man City partnered by a Qatari company, but the Chinese are weighing in with a substantial amount of money. In Spain, Atletico Madrid and Espanyol have Chinese influence. In Holland, ADO, Den Haag have Chinese investment, and in Czech Republic, Slavia Prague are also being invested by Chinese teams. And another thing I was going to mention as well, and I didn't know this because when I had watched a couple of matches when Drogba was over in China, and the attendances for me, in my opinion, were not big at all. I think one match I saw 8,000. Who knows if that was a friendly what I watched, but it was terrible. Now in the last couple of years, it's picked up quite a lot.
What was the quality like when you saw it?
The quality of
the Chinese match that you saw?
Oh, terrible. It was really bad. Yeah. There's a reason why Drogba was banging the goals. He didn't do that here, but I mean, it was relatively easy. Hence why he's banging in goals at the MLS, because the MLS have a better standard than China, supposedly. But yeah, what I wanted to mention is that last year, an average attendance of 22,000 people were watching a Chinese league game. That's only 200 behind Italy and France, and there are predictions that by the time we get to 2018 and the influence that China have in terms of buying these big players, they could actually break the 25,000 people in attendance on average, which would actually be the third most watched football league after the Premier League and the Bundesliga. So
these are crazy numbers.
It's crazy numbers. We're going to see what's going to happen. Personally, I don't care if they play over there and do their thing, but it would be nice to see a rule in place where the Chinese players aren't segregated, are not getting their chance. I've always said it for years. I've mentioned it to you before and to friends. We need to have that here. At least 5 homegrown players on the pitch, not just in this country, but in every league in the world. That way, talent can be distributed fairer.
National
teams will be a lot better, and the better quality of football in general, and more of a connection to the fans. Like me, I'm a Spurs fan in particular. I'm seeing the team this season with so many English players. There is a much bigger connection. Not just me personally, but I read on social media. I speak to friends as well. They're very much connected, a lot more than what they would have had been, a few years ago when we had like Palacios or what's his name, Tramezzani at left back, and just Paulinho, like
Sandro,
Soldado, like they're not connecting like Dyer and Ali, and you need
someone with that graft that will put the extra work in.
We I wouldn't want that to happen in China. China should still have some sort of rule where a couple of under 21 players get the match day squads, or 5 of them play in the starting 11, whatever. It needs to be structured in a way whereby football over there doesn't implode in itself. A bit like Turkey. Turkey were getting a lot of money in coming. Besiktas were getting big. It wasn't just Galatasaray and Fenerbahce weighing in on the financial side of things in that part of the world. And now they're struggling. Monaco, another example. The chairman came in, splashed the cash, bought all these players. After 2 seasons, realised, oh crap, we're not making as much money as you might have thought.
Ship them off.
Let's ship them off. And now he's struggling to
sell
Falcao.
Falcao. That's
another story.
That's a whole program.
That's another episode.
That's a whole other program we need to devote to Falcao. Well, yeah. Let's leave him out for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see Ligue 1, for example. PSG 23 points ahead of Monaco, second place. Monaco are they're closer to relegation than they are to the first place team. That just says a lot about in terms of like money going into PSG and all the other teams suffering.
Well, yeah, I mean this is it. Imagine PSG. Imagine in France. Imagine there was a rule 5 French players in the team.
Yeah.
Who knows if PSG would be 23 points in front?
No, yeah.
Highly unlikely. But at least you'll see a lot more French youngsters coming through. Players like Rabiot. Rabiot is playing more now this season than he had last. But again, he's not starting every game if that rule was in place, for example. So it's all relative, really.
Do you think it's good or bad?
What?
For world football, China having this influx of talented players?
If it doesn't go bust, and if it isn't primarily only for political reasons, then yeah, great. But for the moment, seems a bit dodgy in terms of the money just being thrown around willy-nilly. I don't know. It's not like you're seeing a goalie, a defender, a midfielder, and a striker going. You're just seeing a couple of strikers or a really good midfielder. It depends.
I think they're hoping that obviously the spotlight will be on China at the moment. You might see more players going there. Well, but I think this will also lead to higher quality of football in China. You'll see your average player in Chinese league, your Chinese national training. You'll obviously see players coming in. You'll want to increase, train harder, get better to compete with players like that are coming in like this. So I reckon that could also lead to a resurgence in the quality that you would see in China.
You wouldn't want it to backfire either, because President Xi wanted 20,000 schools to take up football as part of the curriculum by 2020. That could backfire if these young players who come through don't actually play for the clubs.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult for Chinese players to just go off to any other country outside of Asia and try and play their trade there, because then they're not that popular really. You don't see many in England.
It just depends on the volume of players coming into China.
Yeah, and if anything, you see more Koreans and Japanese players, just in Germany, playing their trade there, and Holland as well even. It's just a case of a balancing act really. Great for football in the sense of there's competition somewhere else in the world, but again, it's about the youngsters. The youngsters that are getting the game, it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool. Well, I think we're done for this episode of Soccer Sanchez TV. Have a quick look and have a look at the scores. If I'm not mistaken, yep, Leicester have beaten Man City 3-1. Any views on that one before we go?
Well, Leicester. Well, who would have thought Leicester would be beating teams like Man City last season, away from home especially? Being top of the league for Leicester is no fluke at the moment. You might have thought you wouldn't have been, shocked if you thought that they'd done it by a fluke come November time or Christmas time. But carrying that form on to February, it's clear that something has worked well. That Ranieri has definitely masterminded some sort of revolution in that team. And well, good luck to them. Hopefully they do win it now. I really do want them to win it now because
they have to make Champions League. They've got to.
Yeah, they have.
They'll flop if they don't do that now.
Yeah, I still don't think they'll be a failure if they don't get Champions League. But being in that position now, it'll be hard to see them drop out of that top four race at the moment.
Next year will be interesting. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, can they if they do win it? Can they continue that form? Can they break that big four barrier at the moment?
Or will they break up the team by buying big players? Who knows?
Who knows? Well, can they keep...
Hardy, you need to stay, mate. Don't move. If you move to another team, you're not going to start games. I'm telling you now.
Yeah. It's not just about Vardy. You see players like obviously Mahrez, N'Golo Kante, Drinkwater. He's been tipped for maybe a call up to the England team. Roy Hodgson, I don't know whether he's maybe tempted by that idea.
Good drinks, really. Good drinks in that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we go, only score that's come in here for the Championship. Bolton 1, Rotherham 0. No goals as yet in the Premier League. So, yeah. We're off then. So I've been Soccer Sanchez.
I'm Stuart. Take it easy and have a nice weekend.
And yeah, we hope to see you very soon.
Yes.
Adios.